Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Krissy. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. So today is going to be a long one. It's a special one. It is something that I am ready to talk about and I'm ready to share with you guys. So if you guys have not seen my vlog of me and my boyfriend going to the state fair on a date, make sure to look at that video, watch that video, and just watch it till the end, okay? So it will explain why I'm doing this video today. So as you guys read by the title, I want to share my story with you guys. I want to share what I've been through, what has happened the past 4 years, and just everything. Like I said from the start, from the beginning of my channel, I'm very open with my life and I love to share it with you guys. But this in particular is something that I definitely want to share because it's something that it's a tough topic for me to talk about, but I have healed and I'm getting so much better about the situation when I talk about it, and it's just something that I want to share with you guys, like I said. So make sure to watch the whole video, and I want to apologize in advance if this video is a little bit long, but I want to just cover everything and I want to just tell you guys my story because you know what, at the end of the day, everybody has their story, everybody has a story, and I feel like you should share it with people because your story may inspire somebody else and may help somebody else get through what they're getting through. So what they're going through. So help somebody else get through what they are going through. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into the video. So I did make a couple notes on my phone that I want to make sure that I cover, but before I had to go ahead and get into this, like, I just want to put out there, please do not take this video like that I'm trying to, like, you guys to feel bad for me, because I don't want you guys to. I'm putting my story out there to hopefully help one of you guys, like, bring awareness to why mental health is so important and why it is so important to take care of yourself, okay? So just from right now, just to start, I do not want you guys to feel any type of sympathy or bad or anything like that for me, because I promise you guys I'm okay. I'm doing so much better and I feel amazing, honestly. So I just want to put that out there. Like, I don't want you guys to feel any type of way, okay? I really just want to share my journey and share my story with you guys. And like I said, I've always been from the start, I want to help people and inspire people and just be there for everybody as much as I can, and just show you guys that no one's life is perfect, that we've all been through stuff. Like I've said, everybody has a story, and that is where I want to get at with this video, okay? So I just want to put that out there, guys, but I promise you guys I am fine, and I'll get into the video and right now and get into all the details and stuff, and like it'll make more sense of what I'm talking about, okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and get right into it. My car accident. So my story. About 4 years ago, I was in a horrible car accident. It was scary, okay? Let me just say that. I was commuting from Santa Fe to Albuquerque, and I was commuting because of work. So my parents owned a car dealership out there, long story short, and I have been working for them for a while, and I just really wanted to work with my like family, like with my sisters, my mom, and everything, and it was just a really good idea. So I was commuting every single day, guys. I was going to school full-time at UNM. I was commuting to Santa Fe back and forth every single day except for the weekends, but it was hard. Like, if you commute for work, I give you props because it is hard, and I've been there and it's not easy. So yeah, I was commuting, and on April 30th of 2018, I got into a really bad car accident. Let me just put it here. I almost lost my life, guys. I flipped my vehicle 4 times. I'm not going to put names out there just because I'm not able to put names out there, but I did get hit by a company and they actually threw me off the side of the road. So I was in the right lane and they were in the left lane, or I was in the left lane, they were in the right lane, and they did not see me. So they like were trying to switch lanes, and when they switched lanes, they didn't see me. They threw me off into the median and I flipped my vehicle 4 times. So that's just a long story short. It's so crazy because I still get flashbacks and stuff from it, and it was really, really scary. Like, just I can still like get the feeling of when I like landed and just everything, like seeing my windshield and like my airbags. And it like I said in the beginning, this is a very sensitive topic for me to talk about because it brings back a lot of like trauma and stuff, but I'm okay, and I'm okay to talk about it with you guys. So yeah, that's basically what happened. I was unconscious. I ended up walking away with the accident, which is the crazy part, is like, actually let me say this before I get into like more details. The car accident was so bad, guys, that they thought I was dead. So when I landed, I was inches away from, like feet away from the other side of the freeway, from getting hit head on again as well. So that was the crazy part and the scary part, because I like obviously was traveling south, and I was like feet away from getting hit, like going northbound. So yeah, it was super crazy. But when I landed, they didn't think I was alive. The accident was like, obviously it was horrible, and the witnesses that had seen it, like they had said themselves, like it was crazy and it was scary. So when they had called the ambulance, like I was unconscious and I was just in my car. Like I obviously was like not awake, but all I could remember saying, like, I'm not gonna start crying, but all I could think like in like my head, like at that moment, was my mom. Luckily the vehicle that I was driving at the time, it was a Mazda, and it had really good technology in it, and so I was just thinking about my mom, and I just kept saying mom, mom, and I don't know, like my car, it's so crazy. Like I still to this day do not understand how I was able to call my mom, because I did not have my phone on me. My phone was in the back seat. Like it was, that's how bad the accident was. Like everything was flying everywhere and I could not find my phone. But I was obviously like not like conscious enough to like be looking for it. So like I was just sitting there and I was like, mom, mom, like, and I called my mom mama. So under my phone, I had her under mama. And so I kept like just saying mom, like, and so my car called my mom, and so freaking crazy. I had it set up to where I had like my favorites on my phone, like my favorites on my car, and I'm thinking that's probably like how it happened. But like I said, I was so I was unconscious. Like I had no idea what was going on. And so my mom was on the car and she was talking, but obviously I wasn't like conscious enough to be talking like to her. Like she knew something was wrong, and she could just like, she could feel it. It's like a mom instinct. So all I remember is the cop showed up and he opened like my window. They had to like, I think they had to break my window from what I remember. But I was like strapped in, so I was wearing my seatbelt. And all I remember is a nurse coming up to me, and he was on his way to Santa Fe, and he was like, can you feel like your legs? Like, can you feel? And I just kept telling him, I can't feel my legs. Like, I can't feel like anything. Like all I could think of was like I was moving my arms and my hands, but I couldn't like physically move, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't physically, like I was just laying there, but I could move like my fingers. Like if I was going like this and my hands were down, I could move my fingers and like my arms, but nothing like from my waist down. So they thought I was paralyzed. They were like, okay, what's going on? So the nurse just kept telling me like, leave your head up, like leave your head up. And he was holding up my neck. And he was like, do not fall asleep, do not fall asleep. And I like was trying my hardest, because there's so much commotion going on. Everybody was trying to make sure that I was okay. And just, yeah, it was just a crazy like experience and seeing like to be in. Like that was one of like, fun fact, that's like one of my like things like I'm most scared of. There's 3 things that I am scared of, and that is one of them. So in life, so obviously is to get in a really bad car accident, to pass away, and to get pregnant. But those are like my 3 things that I've always been scared of in life, and I've already experienced one. So that was super like, it was scary. And all I remember like in the moment, like I was just like, am I gonna make it? Like am I gonna like, am I dying? Like, oh, just thinking about it, like there was like, I was unconscious, but like I was awake, because they were trying to like keep me up. Like he was like, stay up, like trying to keep me awake so I wouldn't fall asleep, because they didn't know what injuries I had. They didn't know if I had gotten hit my head or like anything. So it was in that moment where I was like, wow, like this is it. Like am I gonna die? Like did I like, you know? And when I was flipping, I do remember the only thing is I like had seen like the light. So that was the scary part. And I like truly believe in that. Like when you see the light, like that's it for you. So in that moment, I was just like, wow, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I don't know what's gonna go, like am I gonna see my mom again? Like am I gonna see my sisters again? Like, that was the scary part to me. And I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself right now, but I'm just trying to make sure I cover everything because it is like hard for me to remember it a lot. Just because it was so much commotion and everything going on, and I still to this day, like, I don't remember all the details, but I do remember some, because obviously, like, as years go on, like, I don't really care to think about it and stuff. So that was the scary part. Yeah, I was scared. I was terrified. I was so scared I was never gonna see my mom again, and I don't want to start crying. But so anyways, going back to like in like the scene, like the moment, the firefighters came, the ambulance came. They ended up having to cut me out of my seat because I was strapped in there and my seatbelt was like locked. So they ended up cutting me out. They got me out of the car. They like lifted me up and they put me into the ambulance, and they're like, we have to like take her to the hospital. Like, she has to be taken because we don't know her injuries, and like she can't feel her legs and all of that. So they took me to the hospital and I was in the ambulance. My mom ended up showing up to the scene, so she wasn't too far from me. She lived in Santa Fe at the time, so she was maybe about like 20 minutes, I want to say, from me. And so she showed up to the scene, her and my sister, and it was just so crazy to see them. Like, obviously my mom was freaking out in the moment. Like, she was like, what is going on? Like, take care of her, like take her to the hospital right now. Like, she was so scared to lose me too, because when the cop had showed up to my car and my mom was in like on my car, like you could hear my mom talking, but obviously I wasn't talking to her. The cop was like, ma'am, you need to come to this, like the scene, like your daughter, like the cop had told my mom, like, your daughter she might die. So that's all I remember. And like they had told like my mom that I possibly was, you know, gonna be gone. So she got there to the scene. They ended up already at that point when my mom like pulled up to the scene, they had already got me out of the car into the ambulance, and they were like, do you want to ride with her? My mom's like, obviously, like, of course. So I had my baby sister at the time. She's still my baby sister, but she was maybe like, I want to say 6. And then I had my younger sister that's younger than me, and she was maybe about like 17. So they ended up driving to the hospital, following us behind the ambulance. We get to the hospital, they start doing like tests and start doing like all that. And at that point I was already up, still couldn't feel my legs. I was throwing up. I was just like very nauseous, and yeah, it was just so chaotic. And then they ended up taking me in for a bunch of tests. I ended up finding out that I did injure my back. So I do have an injury on my back, and unfortunately it sucks because I still have pain till this day. I walked away with the accident with a fractured L2 vertebrae, like in my spine, L2. My disc is completely gone. So yeah, my bones are just basically rubbing against each other. So I have gotten a couple procedures done on my back. I mentioned it on here before. So yeah, that's basically what happened, and the whole like situation and what I went through at that time. And it was hard. It was a very difficult time for me because, one, I was on bed rest. I couldn't walk for a while. I was in so much pain. Like, I had like scratches, and just it was just one of those things where in the car accident, like when you get into a car accident, like, you know, like you're just sore, like you're just like, your body's just like freaking out, like they don't know what they just like, what your body's just been through. So fast forwarding to a couple weeks after the accident, I ended up going home. I was just on bed rest. I wasn't able to do much. I was not in school because I failed all my classes, so I was trying to figure out my school situation and just what I wanted to do. I wasn't working. I was just literally at home 24/7 by myself, and it sucked. It was one of those things where I'm a very like active person. Like, I constantly have to be doing something, and I constantly have to just be like social, I guess. I don't like being at home 24/7. Like, don't get me wrong, I love being home, but I like to be doing things. I like to be out, like going places, and just being busy, I guess. And so at that time, I was with my ex-boyfriend, and him and I were living together. So I was obviously even like more alone because he was working a lot and stuff, and just like doing his thing. And so it was hard. And that is, in that moment is when I was like, Krissy, like what am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna figure out school? How am I gonna finish school? Like, where am I gonna go? Like, I lost my lottery scholarship and like my other scholarship at UNM. Like, how am I gonna afford school? So there's just so much like going on in my head that I was just like, I just felt like giving up. Like, I was just like, I have a freaking injured back. I can barely walk. I have no freaking way of going back to school at UNM unless I'm gonna pay like a freaking arm and a leg. I was already like not able to apply to the nursing program. I failed all my classes. I was a semester behind. Like, there was just so much going on that I just felt like giving up. Like, I'm just so like just stuck. Like, I was just so stuck in the moment, and it was just hard. It was hard to just process everything. And during that time, this is where it kind of starts to get like crazy, and like where I'm like, it's hard, a little bit hard to talk about just because of what I was going through at the time. But guys, I was so depressed, like so depressed, and I was so mentally, physically, emotionally like exhausted. Like, I was so depressed that I wasn't taking care of myself. Like, obviously, if you've ever been through that, and I hope like you guys haven't. I know I shouldn't say that I hope you guys haven't, because I know at some time, some point in someone's life, everybody goes through depression, and everybody goes through that, and it's hard to overcome it, because it's not easy, like, especially if you don't have a good support system. And that's where I was stuck, because I felt alone. My partner my ex at the time, he was not supportive. Like, he was not there for me. Like, our relationship was already going downhill at that time, and that just made it even worse. And I was living with him, and like I said, like, it was just a situation where I felt so alone, and I didn't even have him. Like, the sad part too is, like, when I had gotten to that accident, like, he cared, but he didn't really care enough to like be there for me, which is the sad part. He didn't care like to check up on me, or like he didn't care to like be there for me. Like, we lived alone, like him and I, and so like a lot of people like from like my family and like his family, like, they didn't see that side of him, and they didn't believe it. Like, my mom was like, no, like, you're being dramatic, or like, no, you're fine. Like, like always making excuses for this person. And I was just like, no, you guys don't know what I have dealt with him already, and this was just like the cherry on top to like even feeling more like depressed and like hating life and stuff, because I didn't have that support system. And like, of course, like, you rely on your partner for things like during times like this. Like, you rely on your partner to be there for you, like do everything they can for you at that moment, because like, like, I couldn't even walk, guys. Like, I was in bed, and he didn't care. Like, he didn't care enough to like be there for me or like do anything for me. Like, it was always just a fight with him, and that's all it was. And I was super depressed, like I said, and I just felt like giving up, and I just felt like so alone. Like, even like at the time, like, I got into the accident, and like months went by, and my mom like just truly didn't believe it. And like, to this day, like, now she understands, but back then, like, she didn't believe it. Like, she was like, you're fine, you're not depressed, like, get up, like, keep going, like, you can't. Like, my mom's always been that type of person where it's like, don't stop, like, you have to keep going. But in that time, like, I couldn't. Like, I was just, like I said, I was stuck for a couple like months after the accident, and this is where it got really bad for me. So I went through really bad depression to the point where I didn't want to be alive. This is where it's like a sensitive topic too. How would I say this? I was so stuck. I was lost. I felt like giving up. All my issues like that were going on were not getting better for me. My back was still in a lot of pain. My school situation was a mess. Yeah, it was just hard. I was dealing with so much. Like, my body was just like in just so much stress, and just trying to heal my back, and I was going to like doctor's appointments and all kinds of different things at the time. And I just felt so overwhelmed, and I was just like, I just missed my old life. Like, I missed like life before the accident. And like I said, like with my ex, the accident like truly made, like, was a cherry on top. Like, it made things worse. Like, it made things worse for us, and I was going through relationship problems, and I was going through all my other things like that I just mentioned. And I knew at that point, I was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with anybody, like, I don't want to deal with, like, trying to better myself, because I wasn't getting better. And it was just it was a hard time. And so at that time, I was still with him, and I remember telling him one day, like, hey, like, I'm just so depressed, like, I just feel like stuck and lost. And he didn't care. Like, he was just like, you're fine. And my mom would tell me the same thing. And I just remember one day I was alone in the house, and I was just on the couch, and I was just trying to watch a movie, but there was so much going through my head, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this. I'm done. I don't want to be alive. I don't want to be here. And I just cried. I remember calling my sister, and I don't remember what she was doing at the time. I think she was out of town, and I just remember calling my sister, and I was just like about to say my goodbyes, like, my older sister, because she was the one that understood me, like, the most. And I was super close to her. Like, I still am, but I'm super close to her at the time. And obviously, like, me and my mom weren't on the best terms either, just because I kept telling her, like, you don't realize what I'm going through. And at that time, guys, like, I wasn't in therapy or anything, and I was trying to go to therapy, and it was just a tough situation for me to go to, because I didn't even feel like going. Like, I didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to be in my dark room and just sleep. And I was going to therapy at the time, and I had just stopped going to the therapist in Santa Fe, so I was trying to find, like, a new therapist in Albuquerque. And I just remember one day I was just like, nothing's helping me. Like, nothing is getting better. I'm trying to go to therapy. I'm trying to go to all these doctor's appointments. I'm trying to do all this, and it just wasn't going how I wanted it to. And one day I just picked up the phone, and I was trying to call my sister, and I was just like, she wasn't answering. So I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I know that sounds so bad and, like, kind of like, like, traumatic to even say, but I remember calling the suicide hotline, and I was just like, I don't want to get into too much details, because it might, like, be, like, triggering for some, but I just remember calling, like, the suicide hotline, and I was just like, I don't want to be alive. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. And they were trying to talk to me and, like, calm me down and just be like, call 911, like, do not be alone. I'm, like, not gonna start crying, but it was hard, guys. It was, like, super hard. And I was just thinking about, like, saying, like, goodbyes and, like, just doing all that. And I just felt like, in my head, I was just like, I have to do it. Like, yeah, I have to do it. Like, there's no turning back. And I remember that I had gotten to that point, and I was just, like, scared. I was like, oh, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do this? And then, like, I remember, like, I was like, I can't. Like, in me, like in my head, I was like, I have to, but, like, physically, like, I couldn't get myself. So, like, my head was everywhere. In my head, I was like, okay, yes. And then physically, I was like, no. And I just remember my sister calling me, and she calmed me down, and she was just, like, came over, and she was like, you can't be like this, you can't do this, you need to get help, and I'm gonna help you. And I was like, you're right. Like, I didn't know what to do. And so after that time, like, when I had that incident, I decided one day, I was just like, you know what, things slowly started to get better for me. I ended up getting, like, released from my doctor. I still had the injury. They weren't able to do surgery on me at the time. And I just decided one day, I was like, okay, like, things are starting to, like, look better, and, like, I'm doing a little bit better. I'm walking, and I was starting to go out and do things with friends, and, like, just trying to get out of that depression stage. I went to therapy. Fun fact, I'm still in therapy. But during that time, I just remember telling the therapist, like, and he would talk to me and ask me, like, all these questions, and he was obviously, like, he's a therapist, so, like, he would obviously understand and stuff, and I would just explain to everything, like, from how it started from the accident to how it got so bad that I was like so depressed and dealing with all that I was dealing with. So, and then like from that point forward, and he just told me one day, like I remember his exact words. He was just like, Krissy, like, God has a plan for you, and you have a purpose on this earth. Like, you have a purpose in life. Like, you matter. And I just like looked at him and I was like, wow, like I have not heard those words in so long. Like, to hear that I matter and like I was like loved and like he saw so much potential in me was just crazy. I was just like, looked at him and I'm like, you're right. Like, I do. Like, I got to get myself together. And he just looked at me and he was like, I see so much in you, like that you probably don't see in yourself, but I see so much in you. And he was obviously like big on faith and stuff, and he kept telling me like, God has a plan for you, like you can't keep going, like you have to keep going, like you can't give up. And in that moment I was just like, wow. Like, he's like, you made it this far, why are you gonna like give up now? Like, why are you going to just end everything? And I'm like, you're right. And at that point, like my sister and like my family was like obviously watching me a lot closer just because like of that incident. And in that moment I was just like, no, Krissy, like you have to keep going, like you have to keep doing what you're doing and things will get better, and just have faith in God that like he has a plan. And like things were starting to like look better and stuff. And as time went on, I just like was in shock because he was right. Like, he was like super right. I can truly say though that I'm super thankful for that therapist, because he opened up my eyes so much that I was just like in shock, that I was like, wow, he sees so much in me that I don't see in myself. And it felt so good to hear that, because I hadn't heard that in like a long time. I always was just like blown off and just like, you're fine, like you just got into an accident, like it's not that big of a deal. Like, that's something that I kept having in my head, in the back of my head. And I was like, but you guys don't understand like what comes with it. Like, you don't understand like the trauma and like mentally, physically, emotionally, like how you feel. And nobody understood that. So when I had heard his words, I was like, you're right, like you're so right. And I do have a purpose. I have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. And I decided, I was like, I want to better myself and I want to get out of this funk. And I did, guys. I ended up ending my 5-year relationship with that guy. And I was never been so happy like of myself for doing that, because I honestly think a lot during the time from like the accident to that point, we were only together, I want to say like from the accident to that point, maybe like 10 months. It was literally right after I had that suicide thought. A month or two later, I was like, I need to better myself, and I need to lift myself up, and I need to get better. Like, I had to. And the only person I knew that could do that for myself was me. Like, that was the only person that I knew that was gonna like get better and be able to like better myself and better my life was me. You are only in control of like your life. Like, you can better your life, you can make your life worse, you can all of those things. Like, you have control, and only you can fix that. And so yeah, one day, crazy story, we were moving into our new place, and 15 minutes before we got the keys, I was like, I can't do this anymore. You're not supportive. Like, you caused a lot of like my depression. You made me feel alone. You're supposed to like uplift me. You're supposed to be my partner. Mind you guys, we were together for 5 years. And I was like, I can't do it. And I left him. 15 minutes before I moved into our new place, and I was just like, I can't. The last year, like I want to say it was like 10 months. The last 10 months, like from the accident, from the accident 10 months on, like it wasn't like what it should have been. And in that moment, I was like, I know my worth, and I know one day God is gonna give me that person. And he did. My boyfriend now, and I'm super thankful. But I decided one day, I was like, I can't do this. I can't keep pushing like making myself feel this way. Like I have to keep pushing and I have to keep going, and only I can do that. So yeah, I ended up my relationship. I moved into our new place by myself. I started to realize how beautiful life is, and I was still going to therapy. Things started to look were starting to look so good and so amazing, and I got into GCU. They accepted me. I ended up finding a really good job, and yeah, I mean, I was still working with my parents for a while, and then I ended up like hating that job because I was so traumatized to even pass the accident. Fun fact, I hate going to Santa Fe because that's where the accident was. It was like right side of, like between, like in the middle of Santa Fe and Bernalillo, Alagones, I think that's how you say it. And yeah, one day I was just like, I gotta better myself, and I gotta fight for myself, and I gotta fight for what I want, and I gotta fight for what I believe in, and just everything. And to this day, I still think, I'm like, wow, like there was so much going on in like within a year, that I was like this person that got into this horrible accident, that went to all like depression and wanting to like not be alive anymore, and then the person that ended the year off like doing somewhat better, like doing better for herself and doing things that she missed doing and trying to get back to her old life. And I was just super proud of myself in that moment. I look back at it now and I'm like, could you imagine like if I would have just said, this is it, like, and just, you know, did something that I would have, you know, I don't want to say it because it's like such a triggering word, but if I would have done that, if I would have like taken my life. And now I think of like it and I'm like, Krissy, like, why would you even think that? Like, why would you even do that? Like, life is so beautiful. Like, look at you now, look where you're at. And I guess my point is, like, behind this story, I know this was probably everywhere and I probably repeated myself like a couple times, but I wanted to get into much detail as I can, and like those were like the main parts of my story and where it has led and why I'm where I'm at now. But those are like the main points, and now I look back at it and I'm just like, crazy. Like, it's so crazy. I think and I'm like, Krissy, why would you do that? Like, why would you even think that? You're so much smarter than that. Like, you have a purpose. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I'm out here living my dreams. In that moment that I decided to get up one day and say, I want to change my life, I want to change myself, I want to better myself, is when it all happened. And that day is when I'm forever grateful for, and I did it and I'm proud. And now I look where I'm at now and I'm just like, 4 years ago I would never have thought I would be where I'm at. And I'm super, super thankful for that. And my point is behind this video is, like I said, I don't want anyone to feel bad for me. I don't want anyone to feel like sad or upset. My point behind this video is, guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of your mental health, okay? Get help, okay? You are not alone, and there's so many people out there that are around you that love you, and you have to keep going. You have to keep going. Whether you may feel like your world is falling apart, right? Like, that's how I felt back then, and I was just so upset and just done. But then I was like, I look at it now and I'm like, I wish I could have told myself this where I'm at now a couple of years ago, because I wouldn't have had that. But obviously that's not how it works. But I wish I could. And like I said, my point is, take care of yourself. Like, get help. Do not, whether you're a woman or a man, that's my next thing too. It's like, mental health is so important, and it's something that a lot of people don't speak on, and they, as a person, they will bottle it up and they don't take care of themselves, because then it leads to that point. And it's very sad, because it's, how would I even say this? Like, it's awful. Like, it's super awful. It's an awful feeling to feel, but it's super awful to see that people they're not taking care of their mental health, and then it leads to that situation. And I just want to say, take care of your mental health. Take care of yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, everything, physically. Like I said in the beginning as well, I don't want you guys to take this like to feel bad or feel anything like that. Like I wanted to put my story out there for a reason, and I wanted to tell you guys what I had went through and where I'm at now. But I wanted to tell you guys how I'm doing today. I am doing so amazing, guys. It took me a while. Like I said, it's been 4 years. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a journey, but I'm doing okay. I'm mentally a lot better. Physically, I'm okay. I'm still dealing with a lot of back pain issues, so that's like where it's hard. But mentally, guys, I'm doing so much better. And like I said, I still go to therapy and I still seek treatment for that. And yeah, I'm doing good. I'm really happy, honestly. And I think I've said that in a couple of my videos. I'm really happy. This is the happiest I've ever been. And back in March, when I took the initiative to start chasing my dreams, is when I was like, wow, like I'm doing it. And I had dreamed about this like before the accident, and after the accident, like everything kind of just went downhill for me. Like obviously, like I had said, like I just felt like giving up on everything. And now back in March, when I was like, all right, Krissy, like it's now or never. And I was like, I have to do it. Like I have to. I told myself that I was not going to give up regardless of my issues that I was dealing with and what I was going through, regardless of my back pain and like dealing with like my mental health and all of that. I promised myself that regardless, I was going to keep going and I was going to finish school. And I ended up getting into school, and that was like where everything started to get better for me. I felt like I started to get into school, like I was starting to walk, and I kind of explained that to you guys. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. And like I said, I just want to put my story out there, and I want to tell people that like you are not alone, and there are people out there who care about you. You may not feel like there is, but there is. I promise you guys. Like you are surrounded by so many people that love you, and it can be a friend, it could be your family. Like obviously, like there's so many people that would be there for you if you ever felt like this. And seek the help, guys. Check on your friends. Like check on your friends. Like they may be feeling and like telling you like they are okay, but ever like go up to them like, hey, how are you guys doing? Are you okay? Like what's going on? Like talk to them. Like those friends that are the most quiet are the ones that probably don't like to talk about their problems. And I've noticed that a lot sometimes, like with my friends, and I'd be like, are you guys okay? Like I always try to check on my friends. And you have to, guys. Like you have to check on your friends, you have to check on your family, you have to check on everybody around you. Like even like this is the part that is like where it's like hard, because I know like even though you may not feel okay, talking to somebody, you guys may help each other. And I want to put that out there because it's so true. Like you may be going through some stuff and your cousin may be going through stuff, and you guys may end up having each other because you guys are feeling the same way. You just never know. Talk, use your voice, and be there for the people that love you, because there's people there that love you and that are going to be there for you when you feel that way too. And I just kind of wanted to put that out there, and I kind of wanted to share my story with you guys and just give you guys an idea of what's going on and what happened and where I'm at today. And yeah, back in March, I got up and I was like, I'm chasing my dreams. I'm gonna do this, because 2 years ago I was about to give up, and I told myself that I had to keep going. And I want to say, like, I think I started to feel like really good like this beginning of this year is when I was like healed. Like I felt good, and it was like the best I had felt in so long. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, that's what I wanted to bring to this video. I wanted to put it out there that take care of yourself. I know I've said that so many times in this video, but please take care of your guys' self. Take care of your mental health. Do it, because you have to, and it's so important that you do. If your mental health is not okay, you will not be okay physically, mentally, or physically and emotionally okay either. So especially physically, because if you're not okay up here, your body is not going to be okay. So yeah, that concludes today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was everywhere, but I did want to put that out there, and I did want to tell you guys my story and my journey and why I'm here today and where it has gotten me. So I'm super thankful, and I'm so thankful and blessed to be alive. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough, because why, we've been through a lot and you guys heard. So yeah, I hope you guys, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on this journey of mine, and I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure to stay tuned, because I have a lot of videos coming. I'm going to be doing some new things on here, guys. I don't know if my boyfriend's gonna watch this. Actually, I shouldn't say it, because he's probably gonna watch this, but just know there's some stuff coming, and I'm super excited because I'm switching up my content a little bit. I'm gonna be doing like more sit down videos with you guys. I'm gonna be doing, I know I've been doing a lot of vlogs and stuff, but I'm officially pretty much done with the vlogs for this year. So I'm gonna be doing a lot more sit downs and just doing more things that I've been asked to do from you guys, that you guys recommended. So I will be doing that. But like I said, I will see you guys on the next one, and stay tuned for all the new videos coming. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys always for the love and support, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.